I'm just going to wait a second and see if anybody has popped in. Hey, can you tell me if my camera is showing the right way? I was having some problems and it was sideways and upside down and all kinds of crazy. Much better, good. You know, starting and turning things off and restarting again is usually the way to go. Hey everyone, I'm Andy. I am a homeschooling mom to 5. My children are 10, 8, 6, 4, and 3. You can find me on Instagram at appleandigould, and I blog at A Nest Full of Squishers. I'm so glad you guys are all here. Thank you for bearing with all of my technical difficulties of crazy camera-ness. So today I'm talking about our nature shelf. And a nature shelf is a place in your home that you've set aside to display the beautiful nature finds. Oh, thank you. The beautiful nature finds that you have, that you and your children have collected, and you're putting them on display to share with everyone who comes in your home. You're creating beauty in your home so that when you walk by it, it sparks joy and you can see everything that you have collected. So the nature shelf that we had was, in my mind, it was atrocious and it was not beautiful. My children would sometimes look at things, but they weren't constantly over there observing and looking and seeing what we had collected. We had a shelf made out of these wire racks that you can snap together. These are really great in dorm rooms, in kids' playrooms, to make little cubbies, and you can arrange them however you want. So we had these, and on each cubby we had a tray that things were on. Oh, how perfect that you're nature journaling, Hilda. So we had just trays that were set out. Oh, I'm so glad you've recycled so many boxes. That's awesome. Oh, you know what? Make sure, if your notifications are not on, make sure when you're looking at an individual profile that it's not been muted. You just need to check on the bell to see if it's muted or if it's turned back on. So our nature shelf, we had 9 cubbies, and they had trays. So we had 9 trays sitting out, and they were just collecting dust. In my mind, I had envisioned having my my great-grandmother's pie safe and being able to collect things and display them on this beautiful antique piece of furniture that I will one day inherit, but right now I don't have it. So I was trying to figure out, well, what can I do in the meantime? Can I find a bookshelf or a dresser or something that I can have? And right now, that wasn't something that I was able to find. I kept looking and looking, and I finally said, you know what? I need something different because it's not creating joy for any of us. No one is exploring our nature finds. So what do I have in the house? And I started looking around, and I found these 4 shelves behind me. A desk would have been great. I just wasn't finding anything. So I took the children up to Home Depot, and we grabbed 2 sets of brackets. So I spent about $6. And I came home and I hung up these 4 shelves, and I have all of these old mason jars from my grandmother and my great-grandmother that they used for canning, and I have them now. And so we started putting things in there. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So I encourage you, if you just have a tray, if you just have 1 shelf on a bookshelf, that's okay, as long as it's something beautiful. And when you walk by and when your children walk by, it's creating joy in your home, and you are still exploring those things that you have collected and found, and that you have them on display in your home. So we went ahead and we started making, you've heard of time capsules. We made nature capsules. So we put everything in here and put them all in 1 jar. So this jar is from one of our nature pals, and they are in Colorado. And so everything that she sent us, we have a couple, she sent us a whole bunch of stuff. Most of everything that she sent, though, is in this jar. And we can still take these things out and look at them and explore them. But to create a beautiful atmosphere, it's in a jar. And when I look at this, I think of Colorado. I can see she sent us river plants. She sent us bark from different trees. There's seed pods in here. I don't know if you can see, there's a little test tube in there with seed pods. So everything from her, with the exception of a couple extra things, she sent us some river water. So that had its own jar. So we created these nature capsules, and that's what has filled these shelves. Yes, it's perfect storage, so there's no more dust, but we can still see everything in there, and we can take them out and we can still explore what was sent to us from Colorado. And then we have things from our adventures that we've collected. Okay, so you have to remember that anytime you're dealing with nature, that the decomposing is going to happen. So there aren't any leaves in this jar. There's some pine cones on a branch. And so I think that most of what's in this jar is not going to start decomposing and start breaking down. This is really great. The leaves, yeah, this is fun for the mason jars if you've got a collection. So the leaves that this nature pal sent us, she dipped them in wax, and they're still holding up. We've had these for about 6 months. Yeah, Hilda does the wax too. So if you've got the wax, or if you can get a hold of wax, they will hold up a lot longer. The other thing that we do with leaves, I can show you really quick, is we laminate them. And when we laminate them, beeswax, yeah, use beeswax, you can see both sides. So if you've got a laminator, or if you have a friend who has a laminator, you can pop, I think that they dipped them. Hilda, do you dip them or do you brush on the wax? If you could share with us how you, yeah, dipping them. So you want to melt wax in a jar or a bowl or something big enough that the leaves can dip into. So if you've got a laminator, laminating will seal out the air, so it will also help preserve the leaves. So that's one thing that we've done with leaves. So the wax or laminating, those are two great ways to preserve leaves. The same nature pal sent us this leaf garden. Her children did, excuse me, crayon rubbings. Oh, I'm out of water. Great. So anyway, we've just been collecting things. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here learning things. So we have a jar with rocks. We have, excuse me, we have these little pine cones that Allison Winter sent us. Guys, I need to hang on just 1 second. Just admire the beautiful nature shelf for 1 second. Oh, okay. I just had that tickle that just wouldn't go away. Okay, so yeah, so putting them in the jars is a great way to preserve and still be able to see the beauty. You're not collecting the dust anymore. So you just want to make it special. So if you've got some jars, if you can get a hold of some, that's one really great way to preserve things. So I was mentioning that our Nature Pals sent us this. The Nature Pal Exchange is something that I helped start with Allison Winter and Christy Cox and Shannon Kelly. And Christy and Allison traded nature stuff. They live across the country. They collected some things and sent it to each other. And then, yes, dust is the mortal enemy. I jumped on board and I helped them start organizing things. And we now have Nature Pals that join with our group, and we match you up, and you get to collect and send nature items from across the country. We really try to pair you up, different time zones, different regions. Goodness, guys, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so the Nature Pal Exchange is a really great way that you can get more nature from places that you can't necessarily get to. And then we are over on Instagram. You can find us under, yes, I might try that honey next, Nature Pal Exchange. And you can find us on Instagram. If you check out the hashtag there, Allison's posting up Nature Pal Exchange right there. So if you just search that account, you will find us over there. We are about to go live. Is it next week? Yeah, next week. We're going to be putting up, am I thinking of my dates right? I think it's next week. The end of March, we're doing our next sign up. So you can go over there and find out when we'll be doing things. And we will match you up with a family as similar to yours as we possibly can, in a different region of the country. We do have Canadian members that we have you guys switch with each other so that we don't have to cross the country borders with mailing things. That gets tricky sometimes. So I want to do another, oh good, I know we've started collecting a couple things too. Rock collection. So this is one thing. A lot of this is just chunks of rock. You know, they're not really pretty at all. That my kids just have to pick up all these rocks. So we just have them in a jar. If you have really beautiful rocks, if you can put those on display, if you've got them labeled, you know, finding little boxes. Yeah, it makes me laugh when they pick up these rocks and they just have to bring them home. But you know what? They are beautiful to my children and it's special to them. So I want to create beauty for them, even though I don't find those rocks really beautiful. Another one that we have, that this might be a really good option for some of you. This is just a crafting box. But this would be good for rocks. We have a different one. It's not over here on the shelf, but we do have one with rocks in it. And there's a rock in each one. But this one we have butterfly leaves in here. We've got some seeds in here, some leaves, lots of insects. But this one also, you know, you could display this standing up. It's not clear, but you can still see in there. Okay, I'm going to try the honey now. You know, displaying rocks can be can be tricky, trying to find the right shelf. I really don't know what's going on. So yeah, if you've got a beautiful rock collection, you want to find that perfect rock display. And I'm sure that you could probably find an actual shelf that could display rocks. So, yeah, check out the Nature Pal Exchange. If you're on Instagram, do a hashtag Nature Pal Exchange hashtag, and there's just so much beauty on there. But I did want to tell you guys one quick thing. My son, he's 4. He's obsessed with dandelions right now. When we go on walks, he's constantly collecting all the dandelion heads. And he had one in his pocket the other day, and I didn't clean his pockets out during the wash, and I found this this little fuzzy thing in the lint trap, and I thought, what is that? This is what happens to a dandelion head when it goes through the washer and the dryer. All the fluff comes out and it shrinks. So that was a fun little experiment. But the other thing that happened with the dandelions, because he loves them so much, and I wanted to create that beautiful joy that he's having, we put them in one of our jars. They were not dried out. I'm not even opening this right now. If you could smell this when I opened it, it's just a horrendous stench. So we are going to be throwing these dandelion heads away. We will be drying out our dandelion heads. So if you've got Nature Finds, make sure that it does. It looks so cute having them all in here. But they stink when you open up this jar. So when you're putting, boys, go on. When you're putting your Nature Finds in a jar, well, you can get one in a couple minutes, okay? When you're finding your Nature Finds, if you are going to do the jars, make sure things are dried out before you put the seal on, because that will also, sun drying them. Just make sure they're really dry before you put them in, because the moisture will stay in there and they will start, some things you can bake, but they will start decomposing because of that moisture that's in there. And yeah, they go moldy and just everything just happens and it's horrible. So these are going to be thrown away, and we're going to find a different way that we can keep our, lessons learned, we can keep our dandelion heads. So find the Nature Pal Exchange on Instagram. We're on Facebook too. We try to post updates over there, and we do have a website that Allison posted, naturepalexchange.com. Yes, yes. Just different things will go nasty if you're not watching it and making sure that it's dried out to preserve it the right way. Yep, chicken feathers are great to send in your nature box. We had one of our nature pals painted chicken feathers and taped them to pencils, so all of my children got a feather pencil, and that was a really fun treat. So if you've got chicken feathers, there's lots of fun things you can do with those. It was really cute. Sign-ups will begin next week. On Instagram, we will have the link. We do ask for a $5 donation, and that donation goes to an organization or a ministry that we have found for this Nature Pal Exchange for this particular one. So we're really excited about the next one, and we will have all of the details next week. And then we'll have, we ask that everyone sends out their Nature Pal Exchange box by May 2nd, I think is our date. This is a really fun way to meet a new family across the country and to get some fun things. And it also gets you outside and exploring and thinking, what is special about my area? What can I send to someone else to give them a great understanding of what I see every day? You know, there's things that we take for granted that we see every day that are not in other parts of the country. So it's really fun to find out. You swap with the same exact family, but then the next round would have a different partner. So you won't have the same partner another time. No, it's not even one box. It's just a one-time thing. So it's not even, boys, it's not even a permanent commitment. It's a one-time commitment that we ask you to just meet up with that other family and exchange things with them through the post. I am also going to be doing a blog post on our blog, on our website, that will give you some ideas of how to package things to send them to your partner, because that's something that we get asked a lot. So I'm trying to collect images and make a great post about that to give you some extra information and tips about how to send your Nature Pal. So we do them seasonally, 4 or 5 times a year. We did 5 last year, so we may do 4 this year, but we may get a 5th one squeezed in there. So we try to keep them seasonal so that you're not sending all of the same things over and over. And it's really fun to see the spring things versus the fall things, and to see the changes that are happening in there. So this is our nature shelf. You can't, here, let me tip this down. You can see down there in the bottom, I just have a basket with some of our nature books. And yeah, it's really fun to see the way that different people are curating their nature shelves. Yeah, so you're not having to find new things constantly because you're only trading with one family one time. So it's just a one-time thing. So there are some things that we send with every box because we're sending to new people. So it's just a great way, though, to get out and share what is around you. Yep, so you'll get new partners. And so, yeah, if you send the same exact box, you're sending it to 2 different people, and that's okay. So really quick, if you've got a special place in your home and it just needs a little bit of a refreshing, take everything off the shelf, see how you can change things up, throw away the leaves that have broken, throw away the dandelion heads that are stinky, and make it beautiful, make it fresh again, and just see if there's a different way that you can display things a little bit. You can find me on Instagram at appleandy. You can find Nature Pal Exchange on Instagram also. And I'm so glad that you guys were inspired today, and thank you for all of your input and your ideas. And you know, if you've got a nature shelf and you want to share with us, do that. Do a post on your nature shelf, and let us get inspiration from you, because I may think of something. You know, I thought of doing these nature capsules in the mason jars, but you may have an even better idea or a different idea of how to display something differently, because I couldn't get everything into one jar. So, you know, if you've got a nature shelf, please share with us. Show us your pictures, show us a video, and tell us what's going on over in your nature shelf. Because yes, Allison, there's so many ways to do a nature shelf. So yeah, if you've got a desk, if you've got a shelf, whatever it is, then go to the bathroom. Share with us, and let's just keep inspiring each other on this nature journey. So thank you for joining me. And again, really quick, if you are on Periscope, please take a minute to check your followers and delete all of those nasty spammers, because when you share this video with your followers, you're inviting those people into my home, and when I share them with my followers, I'm inviting them into your home. So if you're on Periscope, please take a minute to check your followers, and let's keep it nice and clean over here. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you all later.
Hi. Hi. Can we watch it?
Yes, you can in a minute.
See, do you want to watch it?
You're going to have to wait a minute. That's pretty